professionally.
Welcome. You'll probably hear this a lot today, but I love to call it celebrate. So I just want to celebrate the fact that you're here. Congratulations on being here. This is a huge achievement, a massive milestone, and a critical step in your path toward your eventual career and academic aspirations. Yes. I think many of you think back to days like this when you cross a different stage in a number of years in the student diploma. My name is Brian Gowan, and I am the Director of Undergraduate Student Affairs here at the School of Engineering at UCI. Largely what we do is a lot of academic advising and academic support for students that are progressing through their engineering degrees here at UCI. I don't have much time, just a brief introduction, but I do want to say that, I'm fairly new here. I've been here for only about 5 months or so. I've worked at a lot of different institutions. I've worked in engineering the entirety of my career. I've always been in academic advising and academic support. I've worked in small places and I've worked in state places. And I just have to say personally, that in my very brief time here at UCI, I can already tell that when it comes to the academic support that our students receive is one of the best that I've ever seen in my personal experience. And what I talk with colleagues about. So I just want to again congratulate people on being here and taking these next steps to touch with becoming here. And just again, like I think another round of applause for you for being here. This is Women in Engineering. Welcome. I think we're going to do a lot of really neat things today in this meeting. You'll hear from a panel of students. I know that's probably the most valuable experience for me, which is hearing from the experiences of other students. Just talk about what it's like to be a woman in engineering here at UCI. I know many of you have had experiences in high school and working towards this. And so I think it'll be valuable to glean some insights of all students about, okay, what is it like in the next step? I'm also about to introduce our Dean Magnus Egerstedt, and he's going to talk about the experience that we try to foster in the environment that we're trying to cultivate here to make the experience inclusive, positive as possible for any of your students. Welcome, Women in Engineering. I'm Magnus Egerstedt.
No, welcome. I am the Dean of Engineering, and I talked earlier today about what creates meaning on a university campus. And here's the sad truth. It's not a course on differential equations. It is not a course on thermodynamics. It's not necessarily a course on wastewater treatment. It's everything outside of the classroom. And we are really focusing very, very hard on what does it mean to be an engineering student. It means that you take machine learning or differential equations or thermodynamics or robotics or wastewater treatment or whatever your major is. But it means something more. It means that you are part of the community on campus. And we are really, really investing heavily in our student clubs and our student organizations. We want every single student that is in the San Diego School of Engineering to have some kind of experience outside of the classroom. And the reason for that, it's very simple. And first of all, it turns out that if you are on campus and you're part of something, you actually feel better, you have more fun, you're part of a support network. So we really, really have seen that students that are part of some kind of group or some kind of cohort on campus, this could be Rocket Club or it could be Society of Women Engineers, they do better. They feel better, but they do better as well. They're more likely to finish their degrees. So this seems like a no-brainer. Then it turns out as well that every engineer on the planet knows something about thermodynamics. But the thing that will set you apart are the projects that you've been involved in. They are the communities you've built. And in fact, we have Abby here. She's a chemical engineer who's going to work on semiconductors for Raytheon. And I asked, how did that work, right? I mean, chemical engineering, semiconductors, it doesn't seem logical. And she explained that it was through the Society of Women Engineers, industry connections that she got this opportunity. So all of a sudden, the career pathways also out of here are triggered very much by what happens outside the classroom. So for that reason, we are not giving out engineering degrees. We're giving out engineering plus degrees, where the plus sign is the stuff outside of the classroom. And we are 25% women amongst our undergraduate students. I don't think that's a great number. It's a much better number today than it was 2 years ago, and it's better than 2 years ago was better than it was 5 years ago. But there are 50 and change percent women on the planet. I want there to be that number in the school, so we're moving in that direction. And particularly, I want to give a shout out to what? I slay. I slay. No, but we have particularly an organization called the Society of Women Engineers, or SWE for short. And it is, as far as I'm concerned, the gold standard for these students' organizations. We have an award celebration every year for our student organizations. And sometimes it gets a little boring because it's the best industry event goes to SWE. The best mentorship event goes to SWE. The best club of the year goes to SWE. It's like the Oscars when the same movie wins over and over and over again. Sometimes that happens because our Society of Women Engineers as a club, and more broadly, our women engineers are really a dominant force on this campus. And I think that actually, they may be 25% women, but it feels sometimes like it's 75% women, and that is powerful. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way because you really don't want to hear from me, you want to hear from our students, but welcome.
Hey, hi everybody. My name's David. I'm one of the engineering career advisors. I'm going to be MC for this panel. But yeah, I'm so excited for you guys to hear from our wonderful women engineers. Just a little agenda for this panel. We're going to do some introductions. We're going to have some questions that we're going to ask our panelists, and then we're going to have an opportunity for you guys to ask any questions that you want to ask our panelists here. So we're just going to start off with some introductions. We can go down the line.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm a colloquial CS major. Hello everyone, my name is Amy Fernandez. I'm a fourth year chemical engineering major.
Hello, my name is Abby McDonald. I'm also a fourth year chemical engineering major, and I am filling for a panelist that is not concerned.
Hi guys, I'm Hiru. I'm a third year biomedical engineering major. Hi everybody, my name is Maren, and I'm a third year electrical engineering major, and I'm specializing in electronic circuit design.
All right, and we're going to be going into our first question. So anyone can answer. What inspired you to pursue engineering?
Yeah, I can go first. I think for me, I was actually naturally good at math and science. I was actually really bad at it in like grade school. And I think that's because like those gifted programs and thing, I was in that. So I was like upset about that. So I was like, it's fine because I'm super good at math. And honestly, that's what happened. And then in high school, I was super close to my chemistry teacher, and she's just if you're not sure why I grad school do chemical engineering, you're really at chemistry and combined disciplines. Furthermore, when I was 15, my grandma, who was kind of a mother to me, was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. But she's okay, guys. She's cured. Her life is saved because of experimental biotechnology treatment. So I was like, okay. So my strengths, chemical engineering, that's a field I can also go into. I didn't end up going in that field, but I kind of how opened the doors to me in the world of chemical engineering.
I guess I think a lot of people tend to go into engineering for noble pursuits. They want to make the world a better place and things like that. To be entirely honest, that was not my reason. I think classically I liked chemistry, I liked math, and I really wanted a degree that could offer me job stability upon graduation. So I went for it for practical reasons. I figured engineering should be 4 years, and you're able to obtain a degree that generally leads you down a path to careers. Is that always true? Sometimes it's difficult. But generally speaking, of the broad range of degrees, engineering is able to get you that way. And it's kind of known as one of the better paying fields as well. So I really wanted the job stability of that. I'm a CS major, so I did one. I was interested in programming, math and physics in high school. It's something I really like about like I had an idea and then I put it into code and then I could see an output of something, like an immediate like an idea is kind of coming to life. I really like that, and then I really enjoy like physics and knowing about processes and systems. That's another reason why I am pursuing engineering. Too. But in high school, I was part of my FRC robotics team, and so I worked on a lot of electronics software on that, and so that was something that I really wanted to pursue in high school. So right now, I'm working on our Formula SA competition where we designed an NFL salary star. So I really just wanted to do engineering to work on something super cool and something that I could apply to make the real world.
You just mentioned her.
I guess it's my turn now. I decided to pursue engineering because my mom's a teacher and she's been teaching like robotics her entire life. And then she kind of just threw me in one of her classes, forced me into it. I didn't really have a choice, but then I thought it was really cool. And then I ended up doing like FLL, I did that, robotics. And then I took like AP Bio and I was like, wait, what if there's like something with both of them? And then I found like biomedical engineering and I'm really glad that we have that as a major here. Aerospace engineering major here at UC Irvine. I joined engineering because I grew up playing Minecraft. Minecraft was a big part of my childhood. And so I knew I always wanted to build something, be creative, but it was actually the movie Hidden Figure that made me go into aerospace engineering. I wanted to be the woman that would break barriers and contribute something to space exploration, and I think that's why I chose aerospace engineering.
Hi everyone, my name is Uma. I'm a third year mechanical engineering major, and I wanted to pursue engineering because I actually came into UCI as a physical science major, and I always wanted to do something a bit more applied and hands-on. My dad also studied mechanical engineering, and I grew up doing like home fixer-upper projects, and I kind of want to like reignite that passion and just do things like using my hands and apply these pure sciences. And I found mechanical engineering to be the perfect major for me to work out well.
All right, next question. What has been your most enjoyable class or project or professional experience in college thus far?
Okay, I can start. So currently I'm part of the UC Rocket Project Focus team, and that's like a senior design project that you can enroll in for a few units and then work on like an existing project. It's like using aerospace or civil or mechanical engineering. So on the rocket team, we're building a liquid rocket that uses like meth blocks as fuel, and we're trying to launch it to 13,000 feet, which is like our current goal. We're gonna launch in the fall, and that's something I'm really passionate about because it just introduced me to like a whole new world of aerospace engineering knowledge. I never thought I'd be working with like cryogenic liquids or working on like engines like fluid systems in a rocket. And I think like having the opportunity to work on a liquid rocket is something that like you don't really experience in your classwork is really valuable and unique, especially going to like your professional career. So yeah, I'd say that's like one of the most memorable experiences I've had so far.
Yeah, as far as course curriculum goes, I really enjoyed a class called Mass Transfer. It's known as one of the more difficult courses, but I really enjoyed it because the professor said it's mental gymnastics and it's what makes chemical engineers special. And it kind of designates us from the other engineers. And then I'm also enjoying currently our capstone project. So our last quarter, our capstone was to build a biodiesel plant from the ground up. And so I didn't think that that was something that I could do. And it's been really interesting to see how plants are developed. And now this quarter, we're kind of progressing that with our own design on a plant of our choice. And so my group is doing a hydrogen production plant using electrolyzers. So right now we're going through the process of developing simulations and doing all the calculations. And then after that, we'll go and build we will not build the actual structures, but we will design the actual structures. And while we can't build a plant in real life, we have like our 3D models and things to simulate what a plant could look like and what a potential job for chemical engineers can play. So we talked about technical projects, coursework, but something I really want to emphasize is joining a student organization. I'm actually was like external vice president of the Society of Women Engineers last year, and I met them for the first time at Celebrate UCI 3 years ago, very long ago. But yeah, honestly, if I didn't join SWE, defined most of my collegiate career. I learned so much from them, not only being a leader, but how to public speak, how to make friends, especially in aerospace engineering. There's not going to be a lot of girls in your class, and so you need that community when you ever face those stressful times, someone to relate to, and you're always going to have this community where everyone's so ambitious. You surround yourself with people that you want to be like, and they were always inspiring me. And now it's like a cycle of looking up to someone and then being someone you look up to, and this community was just so great. So if you have free time today, please go visit the Society of Women Engineers too. It's right in front of Rockwell Engineering. But yeah, I just love joining engineering student organization. I was actually going to talk about another engineering student organization that I really like. So I was a member of Engineering Student Council, which is open to all majors and everyone, which is open to all engineering majors and everyone. And on that, there's like a program your first year called Life Tank, and it's like a little, or Life is the program, and you're kind of going through this little mentorship experience with two people who are in engineering at the moment. They're like third and fourth years, and they just give you advice, like resume advice and interview advice, and also just how to navigate engineering in general. And that was something that was super helpful for me specifically. And then they had this competition called Live Tank, where we got to like add something or just build like a device in general, and then we had a little competition. And that experience was super valuable, as well as just like meeting everyone, because like once you're coming into college, like it's just hard to, like there's so many things thrown at you, that's just really overwhelming. But being a part of that organization, I was able to meet like some of my best friends right now, who are like currently in engineering. So I would totally recommend checking out Engineering Student Council as well. To add on to, I guess, engineering organizations here on campus. So I'm the incoming treasurer for IEEE, which stands for the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. And so during my first year, I was part of Open Project Space, or OPS for short, which is a year-long program that specializes in teaching freshmen or anybody in engineering who are interested about the basics of electronics, electronic circuitry, hardware, software, and they teach you a lot of basic concepts to develop your own rover at the end of the year. And so I was able to finish off the year using super complicated software, and I was able to feel really proud after that, because I was able to learn so many new things, and I was able to put that on my resume and use that to get a lot of the jobs and interviews. But yeah, actually, it's a really wonderful organization. I've met a lot of friends there as well, and I have a lot of mentors that are able to get me to this brand right now. So definitely go to the actually group as well too.
Also, just to piggyback right off of Sunny real quick, Society of Women Engineers, although it's a national organization, it is a strong organization. That's how the dean mentioned I got my full-time position. Actually, our SWE chapter paid for me to go to the SWE National Conference. And the SWE National Conference, you get to network with all sorts of professionals, different ages, and women that actually want to help you. And that's how I got my first internship in semiconductor manufacturing space. And then therefore, that's how I got my full-time position. And my third year, SWE paid for me to go. They paid for transportation, my hotel, my registration, and it was an amazing experience. And that's how I got my foot into the door in the industry I want to be in. So quick plug.
Before we get into the next question, if there's anyone in the back who would like a seat, there's a lot of seats up in the front right here in this area. But yeah, feel free to fill in any space, so you're not just standing in the back. But yeah, okay. So for our next question, were there any specific moment where you felt like you didn't belong or were overlooked, and how did you handle that?
My second year of college, I joined a project. It was pretty small, but on the sub team, I was the only girl, and not only was I the only girl, I was also the youngest one there. And just from the first meeting, I could tell they didn't take me as seriously as I wanted them to. Whenever I talked, they would always talk over me, or I feel like they did respect me, but they didn't respect me as much as they respected the others, and I could sense that. And so from this, I thought I didn't belong, and I would dread going up to some team meetings. But then I realized if I want them to respect me, I need to prove myself in a way. So I started researching more about what they were talking about. I started thinking of new ideas, spending a lot more time on the project. And then toward the end, I was also not ranting, but sharing my feelings to the society of women educators. And they gave me great advice on this. So that's why community is so important here. And toward the end of the year, they really valued me as a member, and they always came to me when they had questions about something. And so this transition of feeling like you don't belong, when you start there, you need to start talking to someone. You can't bottle it up yourself because people will give you valuable advice that you can bring forward and then make everyone and yourself feel like you belong. I think I've been really fortunate as far as the male to female ratio in chem engineering. We're relatively equal, females are probably a little less. But I have taken classes outside of the chemistry department, and I'll have a moment where I look up in class and I don't see another female. And while nobody is actively rude to me, it's just kind of an overwhelming feeling of like, oh shoot, like I have no one if needed that I could run to. And I think kind of how to handle that is realizing the thing. I did that. Like I'm that much qualified that I'm fitting in with all these guys. And it's kind of like I feel a little better than them sometimes. Like I'm doing just as much as you had way more resources than me. So I don't think there's a simple way of like fixing it, but just like understanding that you're the only one that can really fix it is your own confidence and going to those events and standing out, and it's okay if it's uncomfortable. It's even better when you make other people uncomfortable because you're like, yes, I'm in this space too, even if you don't want me to. And it's just kind of a satisfying feeling to do that.
Like I mentioned earlier, I switched into engineering, so I think from that point onwards, I felt like I didn't belong because like all my peers, I just felt like they're so much smarter than me, and they took the classes and they knew that they wanted to do engineering their whole lives. So I just felt really behind and kind of like inadequate or not smart enough. But I think one thing that really helped me was just realizing that there's so many opportunities to meet people and become connected. I actually met one of my best friends just by like going to office hours, and it would just be like the two of us and the TA, and we'd like go back and forth and ask questions. We did that every single week, and it was like our little hangout, so to speak. And I think putting that like commitment to our education and like putting in the extra effort, maybe you have to study more than other people, but that's fine. Everyone's different. I think putting the extra effort to be prepared in your classes, and meeting people that really builds your confidence and helps you feel like, okay, I'm in the right major. And then another thing is, UCI Engineering always sends out a bunch of emails about like student opportunities. There's like workshops. There's yeah, like different design projects, like research, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like in engineering specifically, a lot of people know each other and it's very connected. Like you'll never feel alone because we all just want to become the best engineers we can be and gain as much experience, like technically and professionally. So I think any opportunity that you see, go for it, even if it doesn't align with like let's say you have like a specific career you want to do and you see an opportunity coming your way that's not that specific career path you chose, still apply, still go for it because you don't know what could come out of it. I think as like a mechanical engineering major, I kind of have the opportunity to look into all sorts of majors, like not just stick to automotive. I can go into like aerospace or environmental or civil, and just like approaching everything with like such an open mind and gaining exposure to everything also really helped me feel connected and overcome the obstacle of feeling like I'm inadequate. So yeah, I'd say that's my piece of advice.
I think I was a part of the engineering project team, and there was one of the years as part of it to the years. One of those years, I did one of the bars, not the entire year. The ratio of like women to men like was drastically changed, and it was definitely like less than like about like 5 to 8 women, and then there were like about 40 guys on that team. And that did change the environment. I do remember like a couple of jokes being made, but I remember by the end of the year, me and my friend, and we brought with some other people too, like just our close friends, guys and girls, and it was just brought up, and then the next year, like the division was worked on, and there were like more women on the team. So it is like, recognized and that there are people who will grow you. On a team, on a research lab, so like it's always like there will be somebody good. Um,
I feel like being a part of engineering in general was just like oh my god, I'm doing so many things, like there's so much going on. And I feel like I have a lot of imposter syndrome in college in general. It's just like the feeling like, oh my god, everyone is doing so much more than I am, like I'm not qualified enough. But I like one thing that I just keep reminding myself all the time is that we all got admitted here. Like, no matter our past experiences, like, you probably did something different to get here than how I got here, right? But we all are here and we're all qualified to be here. And I think I just need to remind myself that no matter what happens in class or on campus, because it doesn't matter what happened in the past, like we are here right now and like you got into UCI and so did I, just like remind yourself that anytime any situation comes up because right, I mean as being a woman in engineering there are like less of us overall, so you'll run into problems like even if it's not now, like in corporate down the line, like in grad school maybe like you don't know what's gonna happen later on, but just like remind yourself that you belong here and like there's a reason you're here in the first place. I know it sounds so cliche. I know everything I just said was so cliche, but it's true. Like you just have to keep reminding yourself that, or else that imposter syndrome is gonna like get you.
I know it's earlier, but I thought of something very fortunate. I should have brought this example up earlier instead of my previous example, but so at the Women in Engineering conference in 2023, like Abby talked about, I got my first internship at a pretty big aerospace company. And since I got it through that conference, a women in engineering conference, I thought that I got it basically out of luck. Like they were pulling from the smaller pool of women, and everyone else got it through the general application or through like networking at career fair. So I thought I got this because I was a woman and not because I was a qualified candidate. So showing up to my internship on the first day, and everyone was from MIT, UCLA, USC, all these great schools. Not that UC Irvine is a great school, but that's what aerospace engineering companies pull out from. I was only one from UC Irvine, and I felt like that further solidified my, I guess, thought that I wasn't meant to be here, and that is imposter syndrome. And to combat that, you have to recognize it first. So once I recognized it, I realized I just have to work harder and I'm using imposter syndrome as my motivation to succeed. And sometimes you just need that little push, even if it is a negative feeling, that's what imposter syndrome is how I got here today. And I think I had a really successful internship and I had a return offer. So yeah, sometimes imposter syndrome isn't negative if you don't let it be.
Can you describe a time where you felt particularly empowered or proud to be a woman in engineering?
Okay. So I said a little bit before, but I'm a project manager at Aviator Formula Racing, so that we basically design an F1 race car, and we compete against other universities within the US and also a bunch of international universities as well. And so something super empowering is that automotive in general and our project team is pretty male dominated, but this management currently is all female, which I'm really proud of. And so I guess I also have a bunch of experience in automotive as well in my past internship and just being one of the only girls there, surrounded by a bunch of guys. But I, keep telling myself that I'm just as smart as anybody here. I'm capable of doing anything that you're doing.
So I'm a CSC major, so there are events I attend from School of Engineering and the School of ICS. I'm speaking from my personal experience. So, one of the first hackathons was a hackathons with like this time frame over the weekend where like you would join a team and then you develop something. It could just be software, it could be something software and hardware, or product by the end of the weekend. I remember like these hackathons used to be just like completely doing all the CCU guys, so I was very like scared to join one. But something that UCI does is one of the part of it is like a women's centered hackathon. So they promote it just for like mainly women to enroll, but like it's open to everybody. But I remember that was my first hackathon I joined, and I learned a lot. It was just the experience was great. And next year I joined the community side where I like helped organize it, and that one was also like the mainly like a woman organization where like again just finding people who are also in similar boat as you in this in engineering or like next year as.
I think an important moment for me recently was for I recently became the new promotional lead for the Rocket Comic Cookers team here. And that was really important to me because I guess I was always just like comparing myself to other people, and I just found that so many other people had more technical experience than me and had done other projects before. But I think one thing that really carried me and like led me to this position is just being super passionate and also being teachable. I think if you're teachable and you're open-minded and willing to learn, that is far more important than having all the technical skills. And I think that's something that led me to this position. Just like acknowledging that I don't know everything, but I'm not going to be afraid to ask people questions. And then when I do ask people questions, I'll write that down and do my own notes. And just like Sunny said, like she worked hard to do her own research and prepare for her internship. That's something I did a lot too. And I think that having that mindset that I don't know everything, but I'm going to keep learning. That's something that I thought was really empowering. And I think also something that really helped me, get to this position as team lead because I want, now that I'm like recruiting people, I want to encourage them that you don't need to know everything about rockets. I knew nothing about it before I joined this team, but I want people who are also like open-minded and just want to learn more and are okay with making mistakes and then, like learning from those mistakes. So I'll say that's really primary for me.
I kind of have two moments both took place at my internship. I was interning at a refinery, and I was working on a unit called the fluidized catalytic cracker. And my mentor was like, "Okay, it's time." And I was like, "It's time for what?" He's like, "It's your rite of passage. We have to climb to the top of the reactor." So we got to the top. It's one of the highest points in the entire refinery. And I just look out, and I'm like, "This is amazing. I can see all of El Segundo. I can see the ocean, like I can see cities over." And I kind of had a realization of like, wow, I'm working here. Like I am working on this massive reactor. And it was just kind of a really amazing realization to have. And then the second thing is, even though chemical engineering, as far as education goes, is pretty 50-50 male to female at a refinery, it's not. You're one engineer assigned to a unit, and that unit has a ton of operators working the shifts 24/7. And those are essentially all males. So I'm this little 5'3" with my steel toes on, going into this operator shelter, looking up at these guys that are like genuinely 6 feet tall, and I look straight up at them and trying to ask them to do something for me. Their job is to not make any moves in the refinery. My job is to ask them to make moves that they don't want to do. So already they kind of have a I don't want to do what you want me to do to them. And so it's really hard as a female to gain their respect. And so I had the point to schedule some time to shadow them. So I talked to my leaders like, hey, I need to spend a day with them, get to know them, let them get to know me so that we can be more copacetic with our relationship. So I spent a day shadowing them. I was climbing the units with them, turning all the valves, and I was really happy when at the end of my internship I got my reviews back, and I had really great reviews from my operators. I had operators, offering to go take temperatures when I would like mention like, "Oh, I need this," kind of offhandedly. Like, "Oh, I'll go get it for you." Like, awesome. We're friends. Really happy that I was able to gain their respect. And even though, yeah, I'm this tiny little person walking in, I'm able to talk to these guys no problem now. And, it's a really good relationship to have.
Thank you for those amazing answers. We're going to skip ahead to the Q&A part of this panel. So if anyone has any questions, raise your hand and we'll come pass you the mic.
Hi, so I was wondering like what your guys' career options, I guess, kind of are looking like right now, like what sort of fields you're wanting to work in and like sort of how you got to that like realization of where you want to work?
I guess I talked about this, but after watching Hidden Figures, I was like, aerospace or nothing. And so I knew I wanted to go into aerospace, but there's honestly so many career options. There's industry, research, academia. Those were like the main three for aerospace. It depends on your major, obviously, but after working my internship, I was sitting in my cubicle and like sometimes going out into the high base or clean rooms to work on stuff. I realized, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to be told by my manager what to do every day. And so that's why I realized I'm gonna do research. So right now I'm in 2 research labs and I enjoy it much better because I have the academic freedom to choose what route I want to take with research. And I can be creative, whereas in industry most of the time, especially when you're like a level 1 engineer, you're just gonna be told what modifications to make and what exactly to do. You're just like, I feel like I was a robot in my internship. But in research, it was just so much more freeing. And so now I'm going to go to grad school and get my PhD after, and then hopefully work in academia as a professor or as an NASA researcher.
Another question. Okay.
First of all, I just want to thank all of you because you had such honest, vulnerable insight and people help all the students, so thank you. But what I would like to know, do you have female instructors, women engineer leaders, assistant deans that you can go to? Or that's leading anywhere in the department?
Yeah, so for the chemical engineering department, we have quite a few female instructors. Maybe Abby can confirm, but it feels about 50-50 for that as well.
Our associate dean of our engineering school is Nancy Silva, and she's amazing.
Yeah, she's truly amazing professor. She's your first core chemical engineering instructor. And I think she's a great intro to the department, and she makes you feel safe if you need anything. And great exposure.
Yeah, same with biomedical engineering. We have a lot of female professors, and like our I don't know, I don't remember exactly. Christine Kane is she's the director.
She's the chair.
She's the chair. Okay, yeah, like our chair for our department of BME, she like is a female, and like I'm able to go to her if I have any questions. And same with like my professors. They're really approachable. Like I don't know, I feel like movies and TV shows make college out to be really scary and like this huge thing, but at the end they're all people. Like you're able to just like walk up to them and ask a question, and like they have lives outside of school as well, so they're people. So they're all really sweet, like all the faculty at Irvine. We also have academic counselors for the School of Engineering, and a lot of them are females. I was gonna say almost all. Yeah. And I usually go to mine for like advice on, well, yeah, she's literally here right now. But if I have any questions, like academic wise, personal wise, I literally can always go to them. There's also peer academic support as well. We have our peer academic advisors, as well as our student success coaches. I'm one of them. So there's like so much support overall within our school of training, and there are women. We're all here to help you out.
I will say kind of what the dean is talking about, women and community in the field in general, although it may not be 50-50 yet, you guys are the next generation. I will say that like we may be a smaller fraction, but we are mighty. My first day of my internship, my senior manager said, "Oh, how do you get it?" Like, OC conference. He said, "I would be," and we had that bond. We kind of just have that bond from intentionally because we understand, and it's okay to be the only that is actually your split part.
I would like to say, well, in aerospace, like I said again, the ratio is much not desirable. But I think I've only had like 3 classes taught by a female professor, and 2 of them were the same person. So it's very rare. But when I do, I love listening, going to their class. They just teach differently, and it's so much easier to understand, so much more approachable to talk to them after class, go to them office hours. But I would like to stress that finding a mentor in college is so important. I usually have 3 that I always strive to have. One is an undergraduate mentor, and I found her in SWE. She's a fourth year right now, and she had more confidence in me than I have in myself. And so she was a great resource whenever I was feeling down or a little discouraged. The second is a faculty mentor. Mine is my faculty advisor for SWE, Dr. Chin. She's amazing. She does research right now, so she's a fellow, and she's just so inspirational. And then the third one is one in industry, someone to always, I guess, look out for you and promote you and network you into industry. So like always having a mentor in different areas is so important. So if you have a question, specific question, you can like ask a specific one instead of just having one mentor. Because in my opinion, one mentor is not enough. You need multiple in different areas.
Hi, so I was wondering, if any of you guys are transfer students. I kind of got the impression that a lot of you started here your freshman year, and I also got the impression that UCI seems very community heavy. But I'm just wondering how easy would it be to break into that coming as a transfer student, given or not taking into account how much I would have to work for it. I think I got that handled, but I'm kind of, wondering if any of you guys have any transfer experience or know of any friends who have mentioned that stuff.
So I'm a transfer student. I came from El Camino, located in Torrance, so not too far. I don't think that I had too much difficulty. Maybe that's contributing to there's like 35 of us in our graduating class. So I think it's a little easier to mix in with everyone. So in that first core class, I ended up sitting next to someone and she's like my best friend still. We'll have a long lasting relationship after. It makes it easier if you join clubs related to your major. So for chemical engineering, it's the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. That's kind of the overarching association for us. And getting involved in things like that help you create that community. If you just sit in the back of the class and don't talk to anyone, then yeah, it's going to be difficult. I think that's how I was at the start. So it's like, okay, it's a before you get a community. I'm a little older than everyone. I just want to get here, get my work done, and get out. I found that's a lot more difficult to pass your classes that way. So it's easier. I was lucky that she came and sat next to me because now I always have someone to lean on when I struggle, and engineering can be a struggle to be honest. So it really helps to have that community, whether it's the one best friend or a club or just even family helps. Knowing if you can lean on your family. If it's just a bit about something they don't understand, like it's just nice.
For the girl who switched to from physical sciences to uh engineering, can you talk a little bit more like why you switched and how hard it was to switch?
Yeah. So I switched I came in as an earth system science major, and I really enjoyed the classes because like growing up I was always about like the environment, and then like very much in earth sciences. I took AP environmental science in high school, and I was sold. I was like, I really want to do this. I thought it was super interesting. But then I think as I took more courses, and like also talk to people, but something I'm really big on is just like talking to as many people as possible so I have all the information. And that's something my parents also encouraged me to do. So I would meet with like different earth system science professors to really figure out this is what I wanted, because I feel like you don't know everything just from your classes. And I realized it wasn't the exact path I wanted. I think at the time I was exposed to earth system science as a major that had like a lot of like research, like very research and data oriented. And I really want to do something like more hands on and like actually build things. So after I switched to engineering, and then why mechanical specifically, I didn't know what engineering major I wanted to do, and I thought with mechanical that would give me the opportunity to explore any type of engineering. And then the way I really like solidify that is during the transition period when I was like taking all my prerequisites to switch into engineering, I literally just like cold emailed a bunch of engineering professors from like uni, electrical engineering, civil, environmental, so all these professors, and then over the course of like a few quarters, I just like set up meetings. I went to their offices and I just started asking them questions. Like, I'm trying to switch into engineering, but I don't know what to do. Do you have any advice? And I think the whole idea of like literally taking like using word of mouth to understand what these majors are and the careers they offer
was super useful. Because like you can go into engineering and maybe you feel really lost and not all the resources are right in front of you, but then if you take that step to like reach out to people, everyone is more than happy to help you. So I would say if you're feeling a bit unsure about what you want to do, I would say reach out to professors because they have the most knowledge and most experience and can help you. Or actually, one of the professors I talked to, he like showed me a textbook and it was like working through the textbook and like showed me the opportunities and starting like this career path. And I would have never known like maybe environmental engineering is not for me because he told me all these things and I could like eliminate that. So that's kind of why I switched. I want to do more hands-on things. And then even now, like I'm not exactly sure what I want to do in my career. I don't know if I want to branch out to aerospace or go more into energy. But I think choosing mechanical engineering just gives me that like availability to choose whatever I want in the future. But yeah, sorry, I was rambling. Bottom line is just speak to as many professors in the period as possible.
All right, we'll take one more question. I think I saw your face.
This morning, as an engineering major, have you ever felt burnt out? And if so, how do you go about reigniting the passions for the science again?
I feel like okay, I feel like one of the biggest things in college in general is just to have balance. Like I know being in STEM is already like, oh, like you think like, oh, I need to be studying all the time. I have 4 classes in week, 10 weeks. Like you think you need to be studying all the time, but I think having balance is like the biggest thing to not burn yourself out. Because I feel like everything until now, like even in high school and applying in college, like it's all been like sort of a rat race, right? Like you're just competing against everyone 24/7. Like you're getting as many extra as you can so you can like write these amazing college apps. Um, and so like just like take a second, like you are in these classes and you do have to do well. Obviously, I'm not telling you to like not go to your class or anything, but I'm saying like make sure to balance your life out, like join a non-academic club. There's so many on campus. I'm pretty sure there's like groups for a lot of them today. Like we have like performance teams, like acapella teams, dance teams, and then we also have like cultural clubs as well. Like there's so many non-academic clubs that you can join on campus to get that community and also like not burn yourself out by doing like school and academic clubs all the time. So I would just recommend like having a good balance in your life. It's kind of hard like when you first start college because you're just in a new location, first of all, living in a new place, living on your own, probably for the first time ever, maybe. And then also navigating engineering, like it's a lot at first, but once you like figure out your schedule, you got like get your rhythm of like, okay, wait, this is my life now. Like just figuring out that balance is super important because if not, like you will burn yourself out and we have to do this for 4 years. So
I can add on to that. So I think looking back, my freshman year was very different. I was super academic oriented, sleep really late at night. My sleep schedule was really bad, and I felt really burnt out pretty quick. And so I took a moment to like step back and really reflect. Like, can I do this for 4 years? And I told myself like I need to try out different things. So I started doing a bunch of different small projects. So I made my own keyboard, something interesting in my major to reignite that passion and join a bunch of different organizations here where I can find super like-minded people where we can work together on classes and also, hang out outside of classes as well. So I met a bunch of my really close friends to these organizations. My answer is pretty short. I actually get burned out pretty often, especially this week. So this is a great question to ask me. This week I took a mental health week. I skipped almost all my classes, spent time at home, went to cafes, sat in the sun, all these like nice things to remember to remind myself my entire life is not engineering. And so I think the peak of it was like Thursday. I did so much on Thursday that I thought my life was going downhill. I was spiraling. Like if you have free time, you just start spiraling. Like, oh my god, I'm so burnt out. Then Friday morning, I ran 8 miles with my friends, and my life was great again. Exercise is so important, especially if you're like in a mentally challenging place. Exercise fixes it all, in my opinion.
I do think that burnout is common. But like I think one of the things that helps me personally is I had my like few friends who was on the same age group and we went through classes together. So from freshman year, and I was seeing somebody graduating, and we all did a lot of the classes together. And it's like if one is struggling, it's the other two are helping. If you like, it's like at least having your friends and your like buddies along with you. That was really supporting to me, and it's also like, okay, you need to get like one of us gets something, but the other doesn't. It's okay. Like I got you that way. So I really, I'm glad that I found them as like close to you. But like, guys, like find your people in your close to you. Maybe you don't find them initially, but eventually you will. It makes it so much better.
Sorry, something really small to add. I kind of like romanticize my like school life. Like when I'm studying, always have like a matcha on my desk and like light a candle and just make the whole environment more fun. Because I think I dealt with a lot of burnout like my first and second year. I think this year I'm doing a bit better because I'm really just trying to prioritize my happiness and like understand. Obviously, we're here like working hard, but nothing is ever that serious to the point where it's worth it to undergo like psychosomatic stress, like feel physically stressed, and I feel like that's what happened in my first and second year. So, I'll like sit in Aldrich Park, I'll lay it out like a blanket and do homework again sipping my matcha, like always trying to make studying and like school fun. Also like having study groups in the library, like sometimes my friends will like we'll get a bunch of snacks from Trader Joe's, lay it out on like a table in the science library, and then just study and play music and it's such a vibe. And making your environment more fun also motivates you keep studying because it's not boring. And I think that also motivates you to just be more passionate about what you're studying. So yeah, don't take it too seriously, but also have fun with it. I say that's like how I avoid going.
I was just gonna say, like, we have a really nice campus at like the student center. You're still gonna catch grass, like, as an engineering major, you're probably just gonna be in class like a lot of the time. So just go outside, like, all this party's so nice, like, things like really just lay and make it out. There's also so many places to study around campus, like, we have like two big libraries, and then there's like, the student center, the like humanities, like gateway. There's so many places to study on campus. We also have like our research park and like there's like Yundo coffee, right? So if you place to study, yeah, so like I agree with her in terms of like the environment. Just make it fun for yourself so it's not like a task, like where you're like, oh I need to do this and you're like complaining about it. It's like fun because this is gonna be your life in corporate or grad school like later on anyways. So you don't want to be stuck doing something that you don't like forever.